You're watching Truth versus Hype. The political noise around Maharashtra's irrigation scam has taken the focus away from the actual scam itself. How a state that spent over 70,000 crore rupees building over 4,000 dams has only managed to irrigate around 17% of its agricultural land, less than half the national average. So where did the money go? Over the next 30 minutes, we used a combination of RTI documents, testimonies of whistleblowers and on-the-ground reports to piece together a picture of how a small handful of contractors and politicians managed to twist and bend the rules to benefit themselves with very little to show for it on the ground. This year, 123 talukas in Maharashtra were hit by drought. Suicides by cotton farmers continued unabated. This for a state with the highest spending on irrigation.
When I go to a drought-prone area, drought-affected area, and people ask me for water, I am answerable to them.
Why has the project not been completed?
Why is the project not been completed? And as I said, 80,000 crores worth of pending project.
The malpractice, many say, begins with how irrigation tenders were manipulated by Maharashtra's irrigation corporations. The actual tender estimate floated by the irrigation department would always be higher than the original cost of the project. So, for example, a project that should only cost 80 crores was padded up to show that it's a 100 crore project. The next step would be to tip off the contractor so that the lowest bid would still be higher than this estimated cost. So the lowest bid would be, say, 125 crores. But the dilemma for the department was that any bid which is 5% higher than the original cost needed to go to a higher authority for clearance. How would they get around this? To get around this, the corporations would lower the cost of the contractor after his bid was in. In document after document, the contractor's bid magically falls just short of 5%. Once the tender was awarded, the costs were again escalated. A committee of inquiry found that costs were padded for what it called a series of frivolous reasons, like adding taxes which were already there in the original estimate.
And if you look at Kondhane Dam, in Thane, which in many senses started the whole thing, the cost was escalated just within 1 month after signing the tender. And it shocked a number of us. In case of Kondhane, they said that there was a height increase from around 39 meters to 71 meters. And they said that this was demanded by the local population. But we do not have any papers to substantiate this.
This meant, for instance, that projects like the Bal Ganga Dam in Raigad was estimated at 350 crores, awarded for 488 crores, and afterwards escalated to over 1,200 crores. Fueling the accusations of match fixing is the cropping up of the same set of contractors in project after project across Maharashtra. In some cases, one contractor using different alibis to bid for the same project.
If you wanted to get a contract in the irrigation department, you had to pay upfront 10%, out of which 7% went to the irrigation minister, 1% each to the ladder which started from executive engineer, superintending engineer and chief engineer.
So one set of kickbacks, it was alleged, given at the time of bid, and another every time bills were submitted monthly.
Yeah.
Which became an incentive for projects to be dragged on for years without completing them.
At the submission of bill, there was 1% to be given. Also, since the resources were thinly spread and the budget provision was limited, just to get the budget provision, you had to pay 1%. Then again, to release the budget provision, you had to pay 1%.
Perhaps this is why Maharashtra is littered with half-complete dams whose costs over the years have escalated, in some cases as much as by 500%. So who's accountable? Activists say that former Irrigation Minister Ajit Pawar's signatures on every document, from commissioning orders to sanctioning advances to approving cost escalations, clearly fixes liability. When officials of the irrigation department would object, as they did, for instance, in 2008, to rising cost escalations, the minister's personal secretary wrote a letter a few weeks later striking down that objection.
100% it was going to the top. We have directly alleged this in the council and assembly. We have directly said that it's going to the minister. It's going to the top. Basically, linking kickbacks would attract some corroborative evidences. I would just tell you one fact. Let's say when the cost escalations in Vidarbha were done and the costs were escalated from 6,000 crores to 24,000 crores, the file didn't went to the government. My question is why? Why it didn't go to the government? When for such type of revised administrative approval, the law says that you have to route it through the irrigation secretary, it goes to the finance secretary, it goes to the finance minister, and then again it goes to the irrigation minister. But in this case, a cost escalation is done in 3 months of time to the tune of 18,000 crores and it doesn't go to the government. It is signed by the ED and then Mr. Ajit Pawar signs it. So here a corroborative evidence that something is fishy.
Now, Ajit Pawar is one man who is absolutely confident and very loyal to his behavioral method.
Clean.
Clean. When he says it's X, he will stand by his life, fight unto death, saying that yes, it is X. If he has taken a decision, a positive decision with her irrigation corporation, he will stand by it, may what may come.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.